Sweet dreams begin with tonight's cozy bedtime story. I'll be sharing a story about Missy and the sea of tall grass. This is a bedtime story about my curious tortoiseshell cat who loves sunshine, gentle adventures, and the warm comfort of a lap. This story takes us to a quiet little house surrounded by tall grasses, soft breezes, golden sunlight, and the kind of peaceful magic that only animals seem to notice. Missy was named after a famous, fearless woman. And although Missy was small, soft, and very fond of naps, she had a brave little heart. She was brave enough to explore, brave enough to be curious, brave enough to follow the path of sunlight wherever it led. And she was wise enough to know that every great adventure should end with a rest. So settle in now. Let your head rest gently on your pillow. Let your body feel the support of the bed beneath you. You made it through another day. There is nothing else you need to finish right now. Nothing to chase. Nothing to prove. Nothing to figure out. This is your time to drift. If your eyes feel heavy, you can let them close. If they want to stay open for a little while, that's okay. This story will meet you exactly where you are. Take a slow breath in. and let it go. One more gentle breath in, while the day softens around you on your exhale. Imagine any busy thoughts floating away like tiny seeds from a dandelion, carried on a warm evening breeze. In this quiet and cozy place, our story begins. Missy lived in a sweet little home at the edge of a wide meadow. Her home had sunny windows, soft rugs, favorite chairs, and a human companion she loved very much. Outside, the meadow stretched in every direction, filled with tall grasses that swayed and shimmered whenever the wind wandered through. In the morning, the grasses glowed pale green. By the afternoon, they turned bright and golden. And by the evening, when the sun began slipping lower in the sky, they looked like waves on a quiet sea. Missy loved those grasses. She loved how they brushed against her side and whiskers. She loved how they whispered when the breeze moved through them. She loved how they made little tunnels only a cat could find. Missy was a tortoiseshell cat, which meant her fur was a beautiful mix of colors: amber, black, cream, gold, soft brown, and tiny flecks of orange, and some bracing stripes on her face. She looked as if autumn itself had curled up into the shape of a cat. Her paws were quiet. Her eyes were bright. And her tail? Well, it had opinions. When she walked through the house, she carried herself with the confidence of someone who knew exactly who she was. Because Missy did know. She was Missy. Named after a fearless woman. She was the guardian of sunbeams. The explorer of tall grasses. The warmer of pillows. Professional napper. And when the weather turned cold, the official keeper of her human's head. That was one of Missy's most important jobs. On chilly nights when the air outside grew sharp and silver, Missy would climb onto the pillow with great care. She would circle once, then twice, then, with the seriousness of a queen choosing her throne, she would curl herself around her human companion's head. Not beside it, not near it, around it. Like a warm, purring hat. her human would laugh softly and whisper, "Missy, really?" And Missy would simply close her eyes. Because, yes, really, warmth was important. Love was important. And Missy took both very, very seriously. This story begins on a golden afternoon, when the sun was still warm and the tall grasses were calling. Missy had spent most of the day stretched across a patch of sunlight on the floor. It was the perfect kind of sunlight. Not too bright, not too hot. Just warm enough to sink into her fur and make her whole body feel loose and peaceful. She had found the spot just after breakfast, when a rectangle of light appeared beneath the window. Missy stepped into it, paused, turned in a slow circle, then lowered herself into the glow. First, her front paws stretched forward. Then her back paws stretched behind her. Her tail curled lazily to one side. Her chin lowered to the floor, and she sighed. A deep, happy cat sigh. The kind of sigh that says, "This is exactly right." The sun moved slowly across the room as the day passed. And naturally, Missy moved with it. When the sunlight shifted towards the chair, Missy shifted towards the chair. When it reached the woven rug, Missy rolled onto the rug. When the sun finally climbed up the wall and began to fade, Missy opened one eye. The afternoon was changing. The warm house had become quieter. The air smelt faintly of clean laundry, wooden floors, and the soft green scent of the meadow outside. Somewhere nearby, a clock ticked in a steady rhythm. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Missy blinked slowly. Then she lifted her head. Her whiskers twitched. Something outside was moving. Not loudly, not quickly, just enough to catch her attention. A breeze had entered the tall grasses, and the grasses were whispering. Missy stood up and stretched from the tip of her front paws to the end of her tail. Her back arched like a little bridge. Her mouth opened in a silent yawn. She shook one paw, gave it a lick or two to clean it, and then the other. She padded towards the door, and her human companion opened it for her, as humans are trained to do. Missy stepped outside, and the warmth of the afternoon greeted her at once. The stone path beneath her paws held the memory of the sun. The air smelled of earth, grass, and faraway flowers. A few bees moved lazily from blossom to blossom. A butterfly floated past, pale yellow and delicate, as if someone had folded a tiny piece of sunshine and given it wings. Missy watched the butterfly closely. Her tail flicked once, but she did not chase it. Not today. Today felt like a day for wandering slowly. Wandering to the meadow, waiting just beyond the garden wall. The tall grasses rose higher than Missy's shoulders, some bending softly at the top with feathery seed heads that caught the light. They swayed in long, gentle waves, back and forth, back and forth. As if the whole meadow was breathing. Missy stepped into the grasses, and immediately the world changed. The house behind her became quieter. The path disappeared. The air turned green and golden. The grasses brushed against her fur with soft, whispering touches. Missy loved this part. Out here, she was not a house cat. She was an explorer, an adventurer, a brave traveler, moving silently through a secret world. She followed a narrow path made by rabbits or maybe squirrels, or perhaps some mysterious night creature who had important business in the meadow. The path curved gently, then curved again. Missy moved at an easy pace. There was no need to rush. The sun was lowering but not gone. The day was warm and beginning to soften. The meadow seemed to open itself just for her. On one side of the path, tiny purple flowers leaned between the grass stems. On the other side, a round stone sat half buried in the earth, warm and smooth from the day's sunlight. Missy paused. She placed one paw on the stone, savoring the warmth. Then the other. Then she climbed fully onto the stone and sat tall, looking out over the grass tops. From this vantage point, the meadow looked enormous. A sea of green and gold. Beyond that, the roof of her home peeked above the garden shrubs. Further away, trees stood quietly in a line, their leaves moving just enough to shimmer in the sunlight. A bird called from somewhere high above, and another answered. The sound drifted across the meadow and faded into the warm air. Missy's ears turned towards every little noise. The rustle of grass, the hum of insects, the soft creak of a branch, the distant sound of her human moving inside the house. everything belonged. Everything had its place. Missy blinked slowly. She was very pleased with the world. After a while, she stepped down from the stone and continued along the little path. The grasses grew taller here. They arched overhead in places, creating a soft tunnel with stripes of sunlight slipping through. Missy's fur glowed whenever she passed through a bright patch. Amber, cream, black, gold. She looked like a tiny lantern moving through the meadow. Soon she came upon a clearing she had never seen before. This was surprising. Missy knew the meadow very well. She knew the warm, flat stone. She knew the rabbit path. She knew the place where the grass smelled the sweetest after the rain. She knew the old stump where beetles liked to gather. But this clearing was new. At least it felt new. It was round and quiet, hidden behind a curtain of grass. At the center grew a small cluster of wildflowers, white and yellow, with petals glowing in the late afternoon sunlight. The ground was soft. The air was still. And above the clearing, the sky opened wide and blue. Missy stepped inside. She sniffed the flowers. She sniffed the grass. She sniffed the air. And then, deciding that it was safe to do so, she sat down in the middle of the clearing and wrapped her tail around her paws. This was a good place. A very good place. This was the kind of place that felt like it had been waiting. Missy looked up as a small cloud drifted across the sky. Then another. They moved slowly, changing shape as they went. One looked like a fish. Another looked like a curled leaf. And one, Missy was quite sure, looked like a cat sleeping on a pillow. She approved of that one. The breeze returned, moving through the grass in a soft circle around the clearing. It sounded almost like a lullaby. Not a song with words, just a hush. A gentle hush. The kind that tells the body it is safe to rest. Missy lowered herself into the warm grass, tucking her paws beneath her chest. Her eyelids grew heavy, and for a few peaceful minutes, she simply rested there. The sun warming her back, the flowers nodding nearby, the grass whispering around her. Missy thought that brave adventures did not always need to be big. Sometimes bravery was walking into a new clearing. Sometimes bravery was following a quiet path. And sometimes bravery was trusting the warmth beneath you and letting yourself rest. After a while, something tiny landed on one of the nearby flowers. Missy cracked one eye open to check it out. It was a ladybug, bright red, round, and very busy. The ladybug climbed up one stem, paused at the top, opened its little wings, and flew to another flower. Missy watched without moving. She had no desire to disturb the ladybug. The ladybug that was having its own small adventure. Missy understood that. As the sun dipped lower, the golden light began to deepen. The meadow turned honey-colored, with long shadows stretching between the grasses. Missy stood up and stretched again, because although the clearing was absolutely lovely, home was calling. She turned towards the path. In the evening light, the path looked different. The grasses that had been green were now bronze. What had been bright was now soft. The world seemed dreamier than before. Missy lifted her nose. she could smell her way home. The garden, the warm stones, the faint scent of her human companion, the house, and perhaps, if she was being honest, dinner. She began walking slow and steady. The grass brushed her sides. The breeze moved with her. A cricket chirped and began to sing. And was quickly joined by another. Then another. Their tiny music rose from the meadow, gentle and rhythmic. Missy followed the sound of home. As she walked, the first coolness of evening touched the air. But it was not cold yet, just cooler. A small reminder that the day was ending. Missy didn't mind. She liked endings when they were soft. She liked when the world changed colors. She liked when the sky became pink near the horizon and blue above the trees. She liked the moment when the birds quieted and windows began to glow. She loved knowing that after sunshine and grasses and brave little paths, there would always be home. Soon the garden appeared, and the stone path that curved towards the door. The house stood warm and waiting. A light had been turned on inside, and it spilled through the window in a gentle yellow square. Missy stepped out of the meadow and onto the stones. They were cooler now beneath her paws. She paused and looked back. The grasses moved in the evening breeze, whispering their good nights. Missy blinked slowly at them before going inside. The house felt cozy after the wide meadow. The air was warm. The floor was familiar. Her human companion greeted her with a soft voice. "There you are, Missy." Missy lifted her tail and walked close, brushing against a leg to say, "Of course I'm here. Where else would I be?" Dinner came next, served in her favorite dish. Missy ate with focus and appreciation. Then it was bath time. She washed one paw, then the other, then her face. Tortoiseshell cats know the importance of being tidy after an adventure. Outside, the sky grew darker. The last gold faded from the meadow, with the trees becoming silhouettes. The moon, pale and round, rose slowly above the roofline. Inside, the evening settled. A blanket was folded over the back of the couch. A lamp glowed softly in the corner. The house made its little tiny nighttime sounds. A floorboard sighed. The heater clicked on. A curtain shifted when a small breeze touched the window. Missy hopped onto the couch and found the warmest spot beside her human companion. For a while, they rested there together. No hurry. No noise. Just the quiet togetherness of someone reading and someone purring. Missy's purr began softly, then grew steadily. A low, gentle rumble. The kind of purr that fills a room without asking for attention. Her human placed one hand on her neck, patting her, while Missy leaned into it. This was another kind of sunshine. Not the kind that came through windows. Not the kind that warmed the meadow. This was the warmth of being loved. Missy closed her eyes. The day had been full. Sunshine, tall grass, a hidden clearing, wildflowers, a ladybug, a golden walk home. And now, this. The sky outside deepened to navy blue. The moonlight spread across the floor in a silver path. Missy opened her eyes just enough to see it. For a moment, she wondered if she should investigate. Moonbeam paths can be very interesting. But then, her human yawned. A deep, sleepy yawn. Missy understood the signs. It was bedtime. Her human moved through the quiet house, turning off the lights one by one. The rooms grew darker, softer, sleepier. Missy followed, down the hallway, past the familiar table, past the chair where she liked to nap in the mornings, past the window where the moon now watched over the meadow. In the bedroom, the bed had been turned down. The blankets looked soft and welcoming. The pillows were waiting. The air was cool enough to make everything feel extra cozy. Missy watched as her human climbed into bed and settled in. This was Missy's moment, her very important nighttime responsibility. She stepped onto the bed with graceful care. One paw, then another, and then the last. She crossed the blanket, pausing near the pillow, and studied the situation. The room was cool. Her human was still. The pillow was excellent. Missy turned in one circle. And then a second time. Then she lowered herself carefully beside her human's head. Well, not quite beside it. Closer. And then closer still. At last, she curled herself around the top of the pillow, warm fur tucked close, her body forming a soft little crescent, a living crown, a purring scarf. The fearless tortoiseshell guardian of dreams. Her human whispered, "Good night, sweet Missy." Missy answered with a purr. Outside, the meadow rested beneath the moonlight. The hidden clearing held its flowers. The warm stone cooled beneath the stars. The ladybug slept somewhere safe beneath a leaf. Inside the cozy bedroom, Missy wrapped her warmth around the one she loved. Her eyes grew heavier. Her breathing slowed. In and out. In and out. The purr softened. The house became still. Missy dreamed of sunshine, of golden grasses, of brave paths through whispering meadows. As she drifted deeper into sleep, the whole world seemed to drift with her. Warm, safe, quiet, loved. And now, little dreamer, you can rest too. Imagine the soft warmth of sunshine on your shoulders. Imagine tall grasses swaying gently in a peaceful breeze. Imagine a small, adventuring cat finding her way home. There is nowhere else to be. Nothing else to do. The day is complete. The night is kind. Your body can soften. Your thoughts can quiet. Your breath can move gently all on its own. Like Missy, you are safe. Like Missy, you can let the adventure become a dream. And just like Missy, you are loved. So snuggle in. Let your pillow hold you. Let your blankets keep you warm. Let the room grow soft around you. Missy is already sleeping, curled around her human's head, purring beneath the moon. You can sleep now too. Finding warmth, finding wonder, finding rest. Good night, sweet dreamer. It's time to dream away.